Good evening, thanks for coming tonight. Thank you, Romana. Thank you. Our Romana from Konsko, the most beautiful place in the Dalmatian Zagora. True. Okay, tonight we have a very special panel. This is our final Startups Meetup of the year, fourth one. Who was here at the last one at the Split Tech City Festival? Good, a few of you. As you can see, we're in a very unique location today. We are in the offices of Seek and Hit, and thankfully Mario is here to welcome us. If you don't know who Seek and Hit are, you just have to look over on that wall to see that they're an award-winning organization, a great place to work, according to people that I know that work here, run by a very genuine guy who's also appeared on our Startups Meetup before. So thank you, Mario, for putting us up this evening. Round of applause for Seek and Hit. Because they're not just providing us with space, but they're providing us with soft drinks, beer, and at 8:30 pizza will arrive, which will make it my fourth day in a row of pizza. I don't know why there's not the trend of bringing pastitsada instead of pizza to Croatian events, but anyway, that will be the request for next year. Good. Today, actually, before we start, because it's almost Christmas, I thought I'd put on my Christmas hat.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, have you not got
I have
yours?
mine too.
My Christmas hat, getting into the spirit of Christmas. So the plan today is we start arguing.
We didn't get the memo.
Didn't get the memo, good. And obviously, no Christmas hat is complete without a bottle of rakia underneath.
Okay, now we're talking.
And obviously, I always bring my own glasses. One.
I believe he's Croatian already, huh? Please, big round of applause for Michael and his nice tradition.
Over there.
Ali pogledaj čekarice.
Are you having one with us?
How do you call this in English?
A glass. Okay, good, let's put this on. And pour one of these out. Unfortunately, are you sure you don't want one? It could be good for good for your headache.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it later.
Yeah. Okay.
This is becoming your tradition, yeah?
Yes. My tradition is called an addiction.
Okay.
So what's the rakia? I'm gonna skip it.
It's Orahovac.
Okay, rogačica, huh? No?
Yeah, Orahovac.
Orahovac.
Oh.
Okay.
I think it is.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's the good
For
stuff.
later.
For later? What do you mean? This is
Yeah.
to loosen you up. Well, this is one of Pinja's biggest advice, pieces of advice. Always get drunk before public speaking.
No, it's a myth. No, don't
It's
do
a
it.
myth. Yeah, don't do it.
But we
Okay,
can
well,
do
I'll
it.
say cheers. Cheerio.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone. You don't have a drink,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm gonna do it like this. I'm the healthy one.
Oh, it's sweet. So, what are we actually doing here? We're not just getting drunk with each other. Tonight we have a special panel. We've got three lovely ladies who are going to introduce themselves. And we're going to talk a bit about storytelling. Who here has ever pitched their idea? Who's ever held a pitch before? A few of you, yeah? Who's ever been to a pitch competition? Good. Who's ever done public speaking? Who's ever been on a date? Someone's holding up 3 hands. Who's ever had an interview? Yeah, a few people? Yeah. So these are times when we're basically pitching ourselves or pitching our businesses. And as someone that watches a lot of these pitches, some people are great and some people are terrible. So we thought that tonight we would touch on that theme with 3 people who love a bit of storytelling, who may not necessarily pitch, but they're always in the business of using words to woo other people. Now, because they might not usually pitch, I set them a task of 30 seconds to pitch themselves. And you can sing if you want, I don't mind, you can rap, yeah? Whatever you want, over to you, 30 seconds each. We're going to start with Pinija.
Oh, thank you. Wait, you're still not counting. I just read recently I need to do this, so I was practicing while walking my dog today.
That's 5 seconds.
Oh, shit. So half of my park thinks I'm crazy. Anyway, have you ever experienced being on a stage and feeling like you're losing your breath, you're losing your voice, you're losing any kind of control of your mind and body? Yeah? Okay, I can help you with that. And for those who are more experienced and don't have any kind of fear of public speaking, do you have sometimes feeling that you are not doing quite well, that you can't connect with the audience, that you are missing something, that you are not making your biggest impact? Yes?
Yes.
I can help you with that too. So yeah, my name is Pinija and I'm public and media speaking trainer. And yeah, I'm helping people to find their voice and shape their message, whatever it is, to their audiences.
Awesome. Thank you, Pinija. Big round of applause for Pinija. Welcome to the panel.
I need you.
And we'll move over to Diana now.
Okay, 30 seconds. I listen to stories, so be aware of what you're talking about. I tell stories, I sell stories, and I make pretty good living out of it.
Woohoo!
So thank you. Welcome, Diana.
What am I doing here?
You joined us all the way. Are you from Zagreb?
Yes, should I continue with the presentation of myself or my 30 seconds?
I just wanted to check if you're from Zagreb.
Yes.
Okay, so joins us all the way from Zagreb. And finally today, Mirjana.
You know the story. You know.
So I'm gonna try. This is my first time pitching ever. So imagine sleeping under the starry sky, waking up to the sound of work, people doing something in their land, walking around, taking care of their animals, spending your holiday in a completely non-tourist area, just enjoying and feeling like you're part of the community. Well, if you want something like that, then you're gonna join and you can stay at my campsite in a small village, Zagvozd.
Now, as you can probably tell, 30 seconds isn't enough for them to tell their whole story. And for the next 25 minutes or so, we're going to be having a chat about storytelling, about what they do and why they feel storytelling is important for you. What normally happens is I talk too much, they talk a bit, and then I forget to have any questions. So if you do have a question, just shout something out. Just say, hey, can I ask something? Michael, yeah? Be rude, yeah? So and we'll bring questions in. Good. Okay, so a little bit of a pitch about yourselves. Now, tell us a bit more about you as an entrepreneur. Tell us what you do, what your organization does, and I might interrupt you just to warn you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm a co-founder of Storylab, a storytelling training center. I work as an educator and as a performer. This is what I do on a daily basis. I help entrepreneurs to tell their stories in a better, memorable way. And there are niches that I work with. For example, storytelling as an art, storytelling in a business, and storytelling in tourism. After 11 years of doing storytelling as a practice, 2 years ago, I founded Storytelling Academy, and a verified program with this Storytelling Academy by National Storytelling Network. This is a roof organization that controls everything according to storytelling. So that was very important for me because, do you have papers? We need papers for everything. So after 11 years of good practice, I decided to make it formal and rise it on a higher level. On a higher level, so make it professional. So doing this, many entrepreneurs come to me, so I do one-on-one coachings, and I craft stories for many businesses, and I help them to exercise their stories, how to do a presentation, how to improve their communication, presentation, and interpretation skills. This is very important because during this period, I found out that people are very scared of performing. They have presentation, they have basics, but they are not memorable. And if you want to do a pitch, if you want to engage your audience, you need to have those skills. And this is why I do this through my Storytelling Academy and by coaching people one-on-one. And also, I'm a tourist guide and heritage interpreter. I do storytelling walks through our city. And I help museums to tell the stories about what they have in the museum, not only the building, but to go deeper and to fall in love in everything what we do. Basically, I help everyone to make information, from information to make a story.
Perfect, thank you. You touched on something there which conveniently introduces us to Mirjana. You talked a bit about Zagvozd. Why are you talking about Zagvozd? Who has been to Zagvozd?
Everybody.
I hope so.
Not me.
He is surprised.
So tell us about Zagvozd. Why Zagvozd?
Well, because I grew up in Zagvozd. It's a place that you know so good that you think there's nothing interesting about that place. It's a stone, it's a house. So thanks to storytelling and Interpret Europe, I kind of had this practice. How can I tell the story of my village, but in a way that it's authentic, that I don't lie, and that I don't oversell? Because I opened a campsite in Zagvozd, and who's been there, there's everything there, but there's nothing. So there's a beautiful mountain, it's a park, nature park, but we don't have trails. It's a beautiful area, but you don't have paths where people can walk. It's kind of everything just about. And having tourists come to my campsite, there was not a lot of things I can give them. There's, so I was like, okay, I can talk about the walls. I'm gonna tell them everything about the walls they see on the way from the campsite to the butchers. So I was telling the stories about the walls. I was telling the stories about the trees. Oh my God, the oak trees. And I realized, okay, that's the value. Local people who know exactly that you're a tourist because you're not one of them. So they look at you, they're kind of and then they say hi. And kind of, I realized that combination of storytelling, writing tours is something that kind of helps me to love what I do more. And at the same time, it's a sustainable way, like moving away from very touristy practices. So to have people visiting the area, understanding the locals, and kind of having a good feeling about where they are.
Thank you. Yeah, and Mirjana, you don't just do tours in Zagvozd, you do them in Split and in other places as well. So we've just heard from two very charismatic ladies about storytelling and what they do, and you can see how passionate they are. So let's go to Pinija to tell us a bit more about what you do and how passion's part of that.
Yeah, well, I started as I was 19. I started to work on radio. Radio KL Eurodom. Does anybody remember? Yeah, it was 104,1 megahertz. It was very, very cool radio, and then it was disappearing slowly, so I shifted to another radio. So I was working on radio and TV for a while. I was parallelly studying sociology, so I was interviewing people all the time. Afterwards, I was for a while in science, and then I ended up in a World Wild Fund for Nature, so WWF, that panda, as a communicator. And I realized wherever I go, when I am on one-on-one or like something like this, like a small area with people have amazing stories, and they are vulnerable, they are funny, they are, honest and creative. But once when you put them on this kind of stage or in front of camera, microphone, or any kind of audience in conferences, they become something else. They disappear, they put this mask, and they need to be serious. And then they become boring. Then they put this shield, they remove that passion because they think passion is not professional enough. And I was really feeling so sorry because I had so many amazing people on conferences, on radio, TV, whatever, panels, and I just felt like we miss them, we miss their story. Some of them were terrified, and they were really like almost passing out before the show. Some of them were not terrified, but they were not open enough to show themselves. And then I realized, okay, I was doing this job even when I didn't know that I'm doing it. So I was trying to relax people before the show. I always have some, not rakia, but I had some chocolate, water, sugar, I don't know. And then slowly it started to become my profession. And today I'm trainer. So I'm also doing one-on-one. So for the people, entrepreneurs, CEO, I don't know, whatever, who would like to be more like polish their presentation skills. but also like group trainings for companies, institutions, universities, institutes, all the people who have something to tell, who have amazing scientific or I don't know, whatever projects they're working on, and they need to tell it better so people can hear. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Oh, we're going to have a round of
Thank
applause.
you.
Great. You touched on something there. You spoke about passion. You said about how people are hidden in their shells. Diana, obviously working with a range of clients that you do. Is there like a key as to why you got into storytelling and maybe other people haven't, or why you feel you're able to be open and maybe other people are not so open?
I didn't understand quite the question. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, sure. So storytelling for some people is hard.
Yes.
Yeah? But for you, it comes naturally.
Yes.
And so how do you kind of break down the boundaries so that for everyone it comes natural? What do you think their barriers are? Why can't they be natural?
Fear,
Yeah.
first of all, fear. And many times people think that they don't have any stories to tell,
Okay.
that they are naturally boring. For example, yeah, that's true. For
love the
example,
same.
I was working for one big financial house, and they were auditors. And I came to them, and they said to me, really like this: "We don't know why did you come here? Because we are so boring. Even for us, what we do is very boring. I don't know what can you do with us." And they were perfect. After the training, I just enjoyed in them. And first of all, I show them what storytelling means. I perform. And when they see me acting, not acting, performing, telling stories, because it's story and telling. How am I skilled to tell story? They are just stunned. For the first time, they try to think. They're thinking, "Oh, this is it. This is storytelling. It's not like telling information. They are packed into stories, and it looks like this. I want this." And after that, after performing, after my demonstration, they all want to try.
Yeah.
And they have this. The stories triggers memories and associations, so to many stuff. So while I'm telling a personal story, after that they would tell me, yeah, I have the same one, but a little bit different, but I can relate to this. That's the point. After listening, you can tell your story, because it's a sharing and it's making a connection between each other, between storyteller and the audience. And as a performer, when you stand in front of the audience, you want this imaginary line to be erased. So me and you, we are becoming one. We are becoming we. It's not my story, it becomes our story. We are all into it, and it's interactive. So they can see my passion, they can see my engagement into story, and after that they are all like, "Can we try?"
Yeah.
I think that I have a story,
Yeah.
and then we can start to work together. No fear.
So you can. So obviously, you're saying you can learn this. You can watch it. You can learn it. Was there somebody that taught you this? Was there a moment when this unlocked for you, like when you were
Yes.
13, were you as outgoing now? Or?
As a matter of fact, there was a moment. I was teaching children foreign language and English, but for lower level. And I was telling them stories. And after a while, I was teaching teenagers Italian language through stories. And one guy told me, "Do you know that what you do, it's called storytelling?" And I was like, "No. Should I check it out?" He said, yeah, you should. And I started to read about it. And after a while, I founded my company. And I wanted to find out a little bit more about it. Because for me, obviously, it was something that I was doing naturally. But I didn't put a label on it. And I was performing on one festival, open air festival, and I was doing storytelling, but lousy. It was not perfect. It was like early works. And one lady saw me and my business partner, she gave her a leaflet about who we are. It was like 1 month old company. It was not like I don't know, some famous brand. And she was watching me, and she said, I work for an event agency. Can you do a story like this for my client? And I said, yeah, I can do whatever you want. And she said, my client is Siemens. And I was like, really? I don't have a story. And she said, okay, now it's September, you have time till July. And I was, not July, January. And I said, yeah, I can do it. And immediately after that, I went to England, to International Storytelling School, to learn something about it. And after a while, I had some skills after that, of course, and I did the show. And this is how it started. I started to do this practice on daily basis. And after England, I went to Hungary, and after Scotland, and I'm still going, and I'm still learning about it, but I'm also performing on various festivals here and abroad. And you need some schools, you need some trigger event to go and to be taught of that skill. But for me, it was obviously something, I needed to be a little bit pushed.
Okay.
And it was much easier, but still, it's something that I need to train myself, because there are many layers of storytelling and many levels of it. For the hardest thing is to tell personal stories. It's easy to tell a folk tale, okay, like a joke. Everyone can tell it, but personal, it's something that you need to dig deeper, and you need to be exposed to the audience willingly.
Yeah, willingly is interesting, because just similar to Pinija, you know, you're up on the stage quite often. You're standing next to these people, about to introduce them. You see them backstage. They're nervous. Maybe they are drinking rakia, drinking rakia, and you're about to introduce them. Right? Somebody's sometimes pushed these people onto the stage to talk, to represent their company. And you mentioned this line, which was great as well. So how else can you help people break down that line that isn't just about storytelling?
For people who have especially this kind of stage fright, I try to find a way how they can interact with audience, like she said, to erase this glass. So I don't know if it's a smaller audience, like some kind of workshop, people are usually before if it's first time, and then you find some kind of icebreaker, name game, whatever. But if it's a bigger audience, I mean, even you started with a question before. I started with a question. It's kind of these easy things, but then again, some people are overusing it, and then audience is constantly like raising hands and nothing is after it. So you need to do it smart, so the audience really feels like you're not just ticking the box. Okay, I spoke with the audience. But there are, of course, many different techniques. Usually people are highly educated, very professional, but they were never taught how to actually speak in front of people. They were at university already, okay, you need to do a presentation. And then they look, I'm sorry if there are some professors here, but usually professors have shitty presentations, and then students are learning from it. They're making the same, and it's just repeating the same old shitty presentation, and also the way of performing it, like this, click, 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 next. So there is presenting in front of people is a skill, is an art, is something that where you can really connect with people on a different levels, but you need to be yourself. And what I'm doing with people who have this kind of stage fright is find what are their superpowers. Okay, we find also what is the struggle, so we go to it. We have a lot of different techniques, mind and body techniques, how to get calmer. It's like really hundreds of them, and not everybody's the same. There's no universal thing. It's not just breathing techniques or grounding techniques. There's hundreds of them. So we find, okay, what is specific to you? And then we find the power for that person. Okay, what is your power? Some are storytellers. Some are scientific minds, like, wow, sharp. Some are very funny. Some are more into improvising, like connecting stuff that they heard before the presentation they have. So okay, let's try to make connection before. So I try to find what is the type of that person, where is their natural talent, and to embrace it. And it's beautiful to see that process. Somebody's coming and they are like, I'm just not for it, my boss is still, and after a few hours, weeks of practicing, I got selfies from conference, like, I did it, it's wahoo. So it's really beautiful to see how you can easily empower people. And even now, before this, I met one beautiful woman who told me, I beat it, I done it, now I'm doing it. And it's beautiful because if we don't give opportunity to everybody to speak, we don't even know how many missed opportunities there are, how many brilliant ideas, solutions, projects, startups. I know some startups here where I was mentoring their pitches, and it's beautiful to see people are strong enough and vulnerable enough to come in front of people and say, okay, this is me, this is my project, this is what I do.
Perfect. Thank you. And Mariana, you were born and raised here, right?
Yes.
In Zagvozd or in Split?
In Split, but I'm from Zagvozd.
Okay.
It's complicated Croatian.
So, did you have that experience in school of those boring presentations?
Yes, I did, but I had a grandfather who was a postman. And as a postman, he was always coming home with the stories about the fairies in Biokovo, the werewolves. You know, so my childhood was like a lot of different colors around me.
Okay.
So he created a storyteller in me without even knowing that it's that.
And now, like when you think about the younger generation, you've got nephews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you feel like they're being encouraged more to be more creative with their storytelling? Do you see kind of better stories coming out around you? You work as a tour guide in Split as well, so you're surrounded by tour guides. How do you think they've kind of evolved over the last 10 years?
I think like combination of what the two of them said. It's now we have more information, we have more access to knowledge. So we kind of understand. The first time I heard it, the storyteller, was when I had a tour in Split maybe 10 years ago, and I had a guy telling me, oh my God, you're such a good storyteller. I had no idea. I'm like, thank you.
Is there a word for storytelling in Croatian?
Well, I didn't know what a storyteller is. I'm a tourist guide. I don't storyteller. It wasn't a word that you can hear in everyday's life.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing. I did like a little bit of Googling. What's a storyteller? So for me, it was different. I did not want to go into it to be a storyteller to teach. I wanted to kind of tell my stories. And I would say when children grew up in a rural area, not in the cities, but in the countryside, when you can hear different sounds, when you can hear different things, it's more about community. So you have a neighbor who's going to tell you something bad that your father did when he was young, and it's kind of sharing the stories. So that's kind of storytelling is the way of life.
Okay.
But it's not defined as storytelling. It's just the way. So I think even the younger generations now, I hope for the next project, the younger generations kind of enjoy storytelling.
Yeah, Mirjana mentions the project because soon she'll be running storytelling tours in Trilj, Imotski, and Cista Velika.
Yes. Woohoo!
Yeah. So if you've ever...
All invited.
Konsko, soon in Konsko.
Yeah.
I've got a few stories to tell. Good. Okay, let's jump to business because this is a startups meetup. There's a few guys and girls from startups here, from businesses here who might have to pitch, who might have to judge pitches as well. So we're going to go straight to Pinija. Tell us how, one tip for startups to improve their pitching from everyone you've seen, which was a lot this year.
Okay. There is a great book that I forgot the name. but there is a perfect sentence. Start with why. Because when I was with Student Business Incubator preparing different startups for pitching, I would sometimes come to them, okay, tell me your story, let's see what do you want to say for the pitch. And then we made this amazing project about this, about we have, software, hardware, this and that, and website, and okay, but why did you do it? Because we think it's amazing, okay, but why? And then sometimes it would take 20 minutes to come to why. what is that big why behind it? What is the purpose? It's not the purpose because you enjoy it, because you think it's a great idea, but what is that big thing that will change the world? I mean, it can, why not? So yeah, sometimes we are too much, when we go too big, too deep into our own story, into our own project, sometimes we forget to zoom out and to have a bigger picture and to see, okay, what is this actually doing to the whole community, to the people around us, not only us who are like working 24/7 for months or years on it. So yeah, that would be something that I think should be always in the mind of startups.
And generally speaking, you know, with the pitches that we watch as well, people want that kind of, the bigger picture, don't they? They don't just want to know that 3 people in Split are working on some application that's only in Baros. They want to think bigger. They want to see it as a startup, as a global phenomenon. So great. Diana, what about you? Obviously, you're in a different sector. Maybe in Zagreb it's different. Maybe everyone's amazing at storytelling.
I totally agree with you, because you cannot make a pitch if you don't have a bigger picture, bigger story. Can I do 3 things?
Yeah.
3 tips.
3 tips. Whoa.
Yeah, 1, 2 bonus. First of all, you are all in the IT industry. It's very complicated being in this IT sector, because I deal with various sectors, and the most complicated is yours. Why? Because your audience is not only IT sector again. Maybe you need to communicate to various audience, and you don't have to consider that everyone knows what you are talking about. You talk with many, I don't know if the word is exact, abbreviations, kratice. And
Acronyms. No, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
They understood.
Kratice, and technical information and technical specific words that you use. Maybe your audience is not familiar with that. You need to appreciate your audience and be careful who are you talking to, because maybe we don't know anything about it, and but we want to be introduced to this topic. So maybe it would be clever if you use your 3 or 5 minutes of your precious time to, if you do your presentation, to put first slide with 5 words that you are going to use during your presentation. But maybe we don't know those words and those abbreviations. Just introduce us to them. Explain in 3 to 5 minutes, so we can enjoy your presentation. We will not feel stupid. We will not ask anyone, our neighbor, do you understand everything? And we will not cut our interest in when you are presenting. That's very clever to do. Not ne podrazumijevati ljude. The publica, so the audience knows anything, they are 50-50 or we are gang. Because that, from my experience, when IT sector is telling a story, that's usually very funny to only them. They are making jokes and we are all very silent with, mosquitoes. Yeah, we also want to laugh and enjoy your story.
What if they don't have time to do that little
I'm not
glossary?
talking about speech. This is
Yeah.
when they do presentation. Yeah. But maybe a story well crafted will help them integrate those technical words and technical terminology into the story in a clever way. That's also a possibility. Second thing is using something that one psychologist, Albert Mehrabian, said, you will agree. It's a rule called 7-38-55. It's a rule about when you stand in front of your audience, only 7% of your presentation goes to content. 38% goes to your voice, your tone, the way you speak. And 55 on your body language, movement, posture, mind. So people think people think I have a good story. It's well crafted. I'm going to rule the world. It's brilliant. When they stand in front of the audience, it's a lousy presentation because 93% is already there and it's bad. So 7%, having a good story, it's not enough. If you want to be 100% memorable, you need to include this 93% of everything. So be present and be good and feel good in your body. And when you craft a story, that's thing number 3, you have to answer yourself to 5 basic questions. One of the questions is, of course, why. First of all, who am I? How I want to introduce myself. The second thing, what is it that I'm exactly doing? What problem am I solving to others with my product or my service? Why am I doing this? Who is my audience? And how am I doing it? Because when you find out who is your audience, you can craft the tone of your story. You can adjust it. If it's an urban audience, of course, you will be leisure and more easygoing, thank you. If it's an academic circles, of course, you need to level up, higher up your presentation. Everything counts. It's not, we didn't say that it's easy, but it's a skill and it's easy to be taught.
Perfect, thank you. So some really good tips here. And we're getting on to Mirjana for the last...
I was hoping you're going to skip me. Because
No, last thing. 2 things, actually.
So I can tell you this. Everything they say... Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I have a unique question for you.
Thank you.
Now, one of the hardest things to do is to tell a story, for me anyway, in another language. And I see all of you guys pitching in English. I've never tried pitching in Croatian.
Okay, should you?
Neću.
Yeah, you should.
I've done presentations in Croatian, I've done workshops, education, but I've never tried to pitch in Croatian. You are constantly storytelling, you're constantly speaking, no, you're constantly storytelling in English. So how did you build that confidence and build that vocabulary so that you could express yourself in English easily?
Thank you for this question. But I do have an answer to the previous one also, which is, guys, I was really bad. So they know what they're saying, they understand, but I was sitting on the other side. I was that person who didn't know anything. I had an idea, I didn't have the money, so storytelling was actually my ticket out. I didn't know how. I opened a campsite in Zagvozd. Come on, like there's nothing there. So the only thing I had.
Werewolves.
Yes, that everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And the foxes. So the only thing I had was my storytelling, and the love for my project. I was really bad. So people would ask me 100 questions. Yeah, but why? Yeah, but why? And that's also okay. What I'm trying to say is like it's really okay not to know, because it's the process. It's like organic thing, and it's like we can't be everything. We cannot have the project, make something and be a good story. It's really hard, but it's really not. It's really, the most important thing is just to start. Why in English? Because that was the only way I can earn money. Easy as that. That was for me. I had English. My English was pretty good, right? So I would have tours and not know. I didn't know how to express myself. So I would be like, excuse me, how do you say in English this?
This.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is like, be vulnerable. You don't have to know things. You don't have to rush yourself. Like you can be bad, you can be worse, you can skip a lot of opportunities, but there's always the next one. And everything, if we try to make everything work right now, it's really stressful. And then you lost the idea of why are you actually having your project. So my tip would be like, play with your project. If you're a football fan, you're gonna have goal or you're gonna miss, but like just enjoy and ask for help. That for me, this is very important for me to tell you. I had a lot of help from my community, which was really cool, because when people see that you are working hard and that you want to succeed, you would be surprised how many people around you are actually willing to help. And that's really cool. So,
Totally agree.
yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, these ladies are going to stay here for the pizza and beer afterwards. You're going to take your shot of Barakovas with you. Round of applause for these. You can ask them questions. I said to shout out. Now you have to shout.
Okay, so my question is, in today's digital age, you guys talked about doing presentations in person. Anything you would do differently or you would recommend for doing a digital presentation or a digital pitch?
Okay. Okay, in digital, what I see often is people, how they put the camera is the first thing. Like we heard before, the body is important, and usually we see just this. And it's usually like this or like this, because the camera is somewhere. So yeah, it's not very flattering, but also it's not very powerful in terms of impact. So first thing, I would move the camera somewhere here, so my eyes are directly there, not like I'm looking up from above, and also to see your hands. So yeah, because we speak a lot with the hands, especially here in Mediterranean countries, we are all. Okay, it's also good not to be too much around your face, but here somewhere. But still, according to many research, people are trusting more to people who have gesticulate gestures. Thank you.
Finally.
Because yes, we are helping each other.
Yeah.
Because you can easily lie, let's say, with words, but not so much with body. So people connect more with you and trust you more. So yeah, use your body, show your body. Also, when you are pitching, it's good to stand. What are you? You drank too much.
I didn't say anything. She was the one that laughed.
Show your body, okay.
Get on camera, show your body. Sandra, tell everyone.
Anyway, yeah. Show us your hands. And put the camera like this. And maybe it's good to stand also, because as you know, when you're sitting, our energy level is lower. When we are standing, we are more, like
Energetic.
yeah. So maybe those three. I mean, there's a bunch more, but I don't think we have so much time. This is just for the beginning.
And I would say this is your stage. Everything you see, it's here. Also your body, but the emotions are here. So we manipulate in a good way with our audience by emitting emotions that already exist in us. I always tell to people, behave like I put you on mute. So I should not know anything about your topic, but if I'm walking by the window, seeing someone, I should stop and be interested. Okay, what's going on? Is there something very entertaining, or is it something sad? Your body language and here, your stage must talk by themselves. So you need to see everything, because you cannot divide story from a storyteller. They are one. Storyteller carries his story here and here. Storyteller does not need any paper, any PowerPoint, any pointer. He is a story. He is a walking story. And if he is authentic, original, if he loves the story, then all of us will love the story. It's not the same as he does, but just a bit more. Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
And try to look into camera. Not down there where the
not at
people
yourself.
are. Yeah, and hide yourself.
Yeah. Or
Otherwise, many people are like, hello.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for your great advice, your tips and stuff. They will be around, so you can ask more questions. Another round of applause, please.
Thank you.
To our lovely lady.